I went in for my first audition, and it was, I was pretty relaxed because I wasn't expecting much out of it. And they called me back later that day, and I did some more reading, and eventually Alexander came to my school to come meet me and audition with him. And yeah, for the next 2 months, it was a lot of just touch and go, email, Zoom calls, and all that stuff. And by the time I had my last audition, I didn't know it was my last audition. I thought it was going to be, do that 2 weeks later for the next one. But we sat there, and it was me, Paul, and Alexander on a Zoom call, and we just read the whole script through. And Paul would read the parts that, in a scene where I was in, but he wasn't in. I would read parts for him in other scenes, and by the end, it was I got the role that day. So yeah, it was really surreal and exciting, and didn't really know what to think or what to expect, but it was nice. Being in a film with Alexander and working on one of his movies, it's incredible. Working with him personally, having the director who's sitting right there at the camera and sitting right next to you and comes up to you after every take and is in your ear. You can feel his presence, and it's comforting in that sense. But I think, I don't know, outside of that, he just attracts a lot of professionalism to his movies and his work. I think just him being a part of it, everyone around him sort of is, extra professional and is extra hard at work and is really on top of it and more so excited about working on it because of the type of person he is. It's incredible. It's like working with Paul it's a master class, But again, in the same way that Alexander has really, given me a lot of freedom in my creative process, the questions I ask him are less of, how do you act this, and more so, how do you deal with this? So it's less, my questions come, I think, after the scene more so than they do before the scene. Dealing with those things like, what do you do when it's, 5 hours later after you shot a scene and it's like, oh, I could have done it this way, I could have done it that way. And there's no particular set of advice that he's giving me, but just getting an insight to how he deals with those things. And he's been there at that point. And, him just sort of describing, how he's changed and developed from those moments, and how it's actually a useful tool to kind of look back at things and, grow as an actor from looking back at things and not being satisfied with what you did in the past. These three people who, come from very different worlds, very different experiences, create a special bond, a familial bond, and it brings them together in ways that I don't think anyone really would expect on a surface level, just looking at these people. To find, she just makes me laugh every day. Like on set, it's the loudest voice on set, the craziest voice on set. When you hear someone like screaming profanity across the room, it's coming from Divine's mouth, and you can't help but just, she just brings a really special energy, I think, to, my acting in particular. I think being in a scene with her, she's very, chill, doesn't carry herself very seriously, and, it helps me because she has all this crazy freedom that she likes to portray, and the way she tries things, adding sentences, just random sentences, saying things in crazy ways just because. And as a young actor who's not done this a lot, it definitely gives me a lot of confidence to, go out there and just throw everything out there that I possibly can, and that's definitely something she does every day that I work with her.
待ちに待ったクリスマス休暇。帰る場所がなく、寄宿学校に残る人たちがいる。
Do you think I want to be babysitting you?
No matter what you
don't tell a boy that's been left behind at Christmas that nobody wants him?
孤独な魂が寄り添い合い、
You and I have this in common.
思いがけない絆を結ぶ。
You've got time to turn things around. Yeah, I was going to tell you the same thing.
ホールドオーバーズ、置いてけぼりのホリデー。